You need to hear this. Yay. We are all gathered here today to discuss the funding in boxing. Saudi Arabia, their mark in boxing. It appears I got some bad news, and there's going to be some changes. These changes could very well affect prominent names in the sport who think they are huge stars, but reality will slowly start to set in. Guys like Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson may be at the forefront of this. In this video, I'm going to unearth, uncover, and completely unpack this subject. The Saudi Arabian funding and involvement in boxing. Buckle up. Let's get unpacked. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxingego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I am back with some more boxing. Listen, I really love my job. I mean, just think about it. Why wouldn't I? I went from working for the man, working for other people's mission statements, to now doing it myself. And the beautiful thing about being a content creator is I control my own destiny. And that is a beautiful thing. If you ever get into a position where you can control your destiny. And Saudi Arabia, many of you guys were big advocates for them hopping into the sport of boxing. You were big advocates for what they were planning on doing in the game, all these types of things.
Live Golf is seeking new backers after Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund announced it will be pulling its funding at the end of the season. The league was founded in 2022 and Live Golf is seeking new backers after Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund announced it will be pulling its funding at the end of the season. The league was founded in
It will be pulling its funding. The Saudi Arabia PIF.
The season. The league was founded in Fund announced it will be pulling its funding at the end of the season. The league was founded in 2022 and it promised investment fund announced Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund announced it will be pulling its funding at the end of the season. The league was founded in 2022 and it promised golfers big paydays to get them to join, and the move divided the golf world.
Now, I understand this is golf. I understand it. I am not Tiger Woods. This is not a test. But I will break down the correlation after.
The league is announcing
it said the golf people were divided.
Appointment of several new board members and a new focus on finding financial backers to keep the operation running. Gabby Herzig, staff writer with The Athletic, joins me now. Why is Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund pulling back its funding?
You know, I think there was a lot of speculation on this topic in the days leading up to the recent announcement, but really what the Public Investment Fund actually released in a statement today is that they're just not able to sustain the significant losses that the league requires to continue in its current form, and it's not part of their overall strategy anymore. So it's not necessarily because of the conflict in the Middle East or the Saudis changing their broader strategy towards sports investments as a whole. It's genuinely because the Live Golf investment is not worth it anymore.
So we mentioned
because the golf investment is not worth it anymore and they are changing their strategy. Right? Man, y'all should have listened to me. but it's okay. Y'all gonna listen now. Do I have your full undivided attention? Now, notice on Google, I just typed in Saudi Arabia. I didn't put Saudi Arabia money. I didn't put Saudi Arabia boxing. I didn't put currency. I didn't put conflict in the Gulf and the Middle East. I didn't put none of that. All I did was type in Saudi Arabia, right? And Google uses Gemini, which is an AI, and it scrapes pages like websites, and it can like kind of calibrate and collectively summons different information from scraping all these web pages. Google and YouTube are the number 1 and 2 search engines still to this day, right? So they have a lot of data. And look at what Gemini put. Saudi Arabia's PIF reportedly ending Live Gulf funding. All I typed in was Saudi Arabia. And that's what's coming up. Saudi Arabia's Live paid players over $3 billion in just 4 years. $3 billion. And now they're saying, nah, we can't sustain this. We're not getting nothing back from it. We're changing our strategy. And after this season, 2026 year, it's over, right? Saudi Arabia decides that Live Golf is ready to be supported, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what that was even. I'm not clicking on that. Live Golf, not the only sports property affected by Saudi Arabia's investment reboot. Can you guys read? I know I can. 11 hours ago. Yeah. Right? The billionaires in Saudi Arabia are pulling the plug on Live Golf. It won't be the first mega sports project they've given up on recently. Over the last several weeks, the Saudis have bailed on the Winter Olympic-style sports festival and sold one of their best soccer teams, all while shifting the strategy of their multi-billion-dollar investment fund that bankrolls it all. The Saudi PIF, helmed by the Crown Prince MBS, recently delivered a new prospectus outlining its strategy for 2026 and beyond to 2020 or 2030. Its focus is more on internal investment, like maximizing financial returns. Can you guys read? And then we'll get into the boxing portion. Maximizing financial returns, strengthening investment efficiency, increasing private sector participation. Boom. We got action. Now, I want to show you a couple more things, and then I am going to tear off and put my foot in y'all. Ooh, I can't wait. Ooh-wee. I cannot wait. So make sure you stay tuned to the end of this video. Your man Ego about to cook, and I'm about to go off because y'all said I was wrong. So we're going to see how wrong I was. So I've already went over Live Golf. Get them out of here. They ain't make no money, right? Now, what about that video game? What was it called? Oh, yeah. Undisputed. Remember the boxing video game? Undisputed, right? And just, I cover all my bases, so you know it's thorough. Riyadh season partners with Steel City Interactive Studio to launch Undisputed video game, boxing video game, right? You see the people, Riyadh season, Undisputed. This was when it was first. So the Saudis got involved in boxing, and a couple years ago, they had this Undisputed video game, right? Remember when Ryan Garcia fought Rolly and they had Fatal Fury? That's because they partnered with video game companies and they were trying to push like software. And that's why I was like, Fatal Fury boxing card, blah, blah, blah. But another one was Undisputed, right? Where they were trying to move Undisputed, get people involved. The game flopped. People hated it. A lot of back end and technical issues. Anybody who's played sports games, it just wasn't good, right? It wasn't like EA Sports. It wasn't like Madden. It wasn't like Fight Night. in the classic games. And if you don't believe me, go to YouTube, go to TikTok. People were making videos about it where people would use Wilder and then get knocked out by Canelo, and the buttons weren't working, all types of stuff like that. This is who the Saudis like teamed up with to make this game. And then remember, all the boxing media, they were like, oh, Undisputed, it has this person and this person, and they hyped it up. I told you that was trash. It didn't look dope to me. The graphics didn't look dope. It just didn't excite me, right? So I had to remind y'all, right? The Saudis got with Steel City Interactive to launch Undisputed. I'm showing you the receipts of that, right? And I know the fans are like, oh, who cares, Ego? That game is old. What's that got to do with today? Glad you asked. Remember I said, Steel City Interactive, the team behind Undisputed, has announced that it will begin ceasing support for the boxing game ahead of their sequel. Oh my gosh, I'm on fire. Bro, this is a gaming network, gaming page. This company that I just showed you, Riyadh Season, the Saudis were behind. They did all this to hype up this Undisputed video game, but now they're no longer gonna, so ceasing support, probably no updates, stuff like that. No software update. Pretty much they're not investing no more money in this game. And all of the complaints that people have about the game, tough titty, right? You just got to deal with it, because people are like, oh, the buttons don't work and I can't build my own character. Whatever complaints you had about that Undisputed game, you're stuck with it. So whatever, if you pay for it or whatever happened there, then that's just something you got to deal with. Oh, I love, that's why, remember I started the show, I said, I love my job, because we still haven't got fully into the boxing, right? We still haven't got fully there, right? But this is why I love my job, people, because y'all can say whatever. Oh, you're wrong, Ego, you don't know. It's only a matter of time. And time is the ultimate truth serum, right? So, Live Golf, the funding is over after 2026, and there were rumors that was coming out, and then there were people who were like, "Hey, we don't know. That's just speculation." Now the cat's out the bag. Is official. They're not moving forward with that. I just showed you an article. It said they lost billions of dollars, which we'll get into that in a bit, right? They lost billions of dollars on players because of that, just in the span of like 4 years or whatever, right? Liv plans to tell players and staff by Thursday the Saudi Arabia's public investment fund would end its funding for the upstart league, but the PGA Tour isn't yet ready to welcome back those who jumped ship. Wow. Now we're cooking with grease. Hype my video up. I'm schooling y'all. So, in a nutshell, the Saudis came in waving a bunch of money, right? This is the Wall Street Journal, by the way. So in case you're like, oh, you're not using a credible source, Ego, I don't trust it, whatever, right? Saudis came in waving a bunch of money. American players, I don't really follow golf like that, but popular American players ran to the money. You dig? They ran to the money and they were like, cool, they offering this type of bread. We can't get this at home, or it'll take a long time to get it or whatever. We're going to go play in their league, live in Saudi Arabia, and we don't care as long as they paying. So it lasted for whatever years. They lost billions of dollars, weren't really making a profit. It kind of outcasted those players because you took them out of their immediate market. So in the interim, it's cool. If you were a top player and you got some kind of contract, you got a lot of money. But now the downside is they have announced they're pulling the plug on Live Golf and the funding for it. And I just showed you the Wall Street Journal article. The people who jumped ship, the PGA Tour, you know, the American tour that they left to join forces with Live in the Saudis isn't yet ready to welcome back those players who jumped ship. So, eek, that don't look good, right? You got offered all this money. You thought the grass was greener on the other side. You left the PGA Tour, right? You left the PGA Tour and went over there. And then it was good for a couple years. But now you're cooked. Now you're cooked. Now, one of my favorite movies last year was Sinners. And I think Delroy Lindo probably should have got an Oscar. I know he got nominated. Probably should have got an Oscar, right? And he played Delta Slim, right? And these videos are a freestyle, so if I don't get the quote 100%, I didn't do like research and pull quote and all that. So rock with me. I'm the best in the business, and it's not even close. In the movie Sinners, and if you don't want a spoiler, fast forward this part of the video. Delroy Lindo, Delta Slim, he was at the train station playing the blues. And Michael B. Jordan's character was like, hey, I'll pay you X, Y, and Z if you play at my club, the Juke Joint. We just started, me and my brother came back from Chicago, started a Juke Joint, and we want you to play. And he's like, nah, I'm good. I'm up here playing at this, da, right? And Delroy Lindo, Delta Slim, he was like, I've been playing at Fatty Slim's. And they were there last week. They're going to be there next week. They're going to be there the week after that. So the point he was making was like, why should I trust you in your brand new club, right? Your Juke Joint. And he was like, you might be willing to pay me that tonight. But I got stability with this club because I've been there for 10 years and they're going to be there for another 10 years. And if you watch Sinners, you know the scene I'm talking about. So why is that pertinent here? Because that exemplifies what we're talking about right now. Delta Slim wasn't eager to go to some brand new club, and Michael B. Jordan's character had to finesse it and offer him some liquor from Chicago, some Irish whiskey or whatever, Irish liquor, and sweeten the pot so he would jump ship, because he was content going to the club because that club had been around and he knows they would continue to be around. And if you watch the movie, then if he didn't go with Michael B. Jordan, whatever happens to his character wouldn't have happened. You know what I mean? So he was kind of right in the beginning. Go with the tried and true, right? The Saudi Arabia PIF, they came in waving a bunch of money, and a lot of the golfers ran to it. But guess what? The PGA Tour, I'm showing you, it was founded in 1916, right? 1916, they founded the PGA, right? 1916. And then I think they were like really up and running in like in the 20s, right? So we're talking about like Great Depression. They had this PGA Tour. So it's been a part of America dating back to pretty much the the Great Depression, right? Before any of us watching this video were alive. That's why you don't always just run to the money, because when they cut off that water supply, you already jumped ship. So it was good. That's why I always say, get it while the getting's good. But afterwards, then what? Now, if the PGA don't let you come back, cool. Now you got to live off this money or find something else to do or start a YouTube channel. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to play out for him. And I don't care. I don't watch golf, so I don't really even care. But that's the point I'm making. Now, back to the boxing side, right? What do you think happens there? I am showing you point by point. The funding overall has changed. The money has dried up. Not that Saudi is not a rich kingdom and they'll continue, but the focus on what they want to invest their money on has to change, because the current form, it don't look like it was sustainable. You paid all them live golf players all that money and you weren't getting any ROI. You weren't getting a return on that investment. So it didn't really make sense. You have to pull the plug. This is what I told y'all from the beginning. While you had Mike Schillinger and Ring reporters and all these people in boxing, and they're like, oh, Ring, Riyadh season, this is the best card. These are better than Don King cards. And they just dropping buku bucks and X amount of money and no one could stop them. I told you guys, I've been here before. I've seen this movie before. People have come at Rock Nation, SMS Promotions. You had Ring City, Triller. Remember Triller? And T.O. was like, oh, Triller takeover. I'm getting paid $8 million. Everybody waving all this. Like, T.O. at that point especially, you giving him $8 million to fight Kambosos, you would lose. That you're not getting that back in boxing off of a fight like that, right? He was nowhere near a big enough star. And then, long story short, Triller ended up defaulting and not paying what they won the purse bid for. And then Matchroom later put the fight on for their purse bid amount, right? And then now, where's Triller, right? In terms of boxing or anything. I don't people be on TikTok and YouTube. I don't know nobody that be on Triller. I don't even know. Is it still around or what? But I know they're not doing boxing shows. Remember they had Donald Trump was on it as a guest, and they had Evander Holyfield and Snoop Dogg and all. Where's Triller now in the boxing world? And Cavagnier or whatever. Where are these people? Where is Rock Nation in boxing? Oh, that's right. You know, and I've seen it. DAZN came in waving a bunch of money, and them, like, remember Tevin Farmer was like, oh, I'm not fighting Tank Davis for $2 million on Showtime. I can get that fighting Jojo Diaz on DAZN. All right. But now Tevin Farmer just got knocked out by your boy Floyd Schofield. Them paychecks not coming in like that now. But if you would have been Tank, if you would have fought Tank and beat him, you would have derailed this whole thing, and then you might have been able to take over the game a bit at that point, because people really want to see that fight at that point. So it's funny to me. Y'all keep saying, oh yeah, oh ego, you don't know, and all that. The grass is always greener on the other side till you find out it isn't. The writings have been on the wall. Y'all said I was wrong, and I keep showing you how right I am. Y'all hyped up this Undisputed game. Then why are they turning off support and not investing? So you're pretty much saying I'm not wasting no more money on it. We're just on to the next game. So all the people who got screwed over and bought the game and didn't fully like it, you just stuck. Go buy another game. You know what I mean? That's what they're telling you. If they're like, it's like Windows 95. At some point, they're like, we got a new operating system. We got new Windows. We're not putting no money into Windows 95 anymore. The game has changed. So what do you think is going to happen to boxing when I'm showing you all these warning signs? And we're talking about fighters getting these lofty paychecks, right? And I feel like I've seen this from Turkey. This was a bit of a desperation move. Crawford is talking about being undisputed. We don't care. Turkey says, we want the rematch with Canelo. Who is we? The Saudis might want it, but Americans, people in boxing don't want that fight. Maybe it is a chance to be a 4-time undisputed. Tell me how that makes sense. Crawford already beat Canelo to become 3X undisputed. After Crawford beat him, he retired. So his belts, they got split up. So even if you made Crawford and Canelo fight again, how on earth would it be for 4X undisputed if not one person has all the belts now? So that's what I'm saying. This was like a desperation tweet. I don't know if he was like throwing it out to see what people would feel. Go look through the comments. People don't want to see no cross. He's retired. He said he's good. He's not coming back for any type of money. What are we doing? That's what I'm saying. This is desperate. This is talk. You guys got all the money. It shouldn't be nothing to talk about. Lure Crawford out of retirement, announce the fight if that's what it is. So I think the writing has been on the wall for a minute. Even Turkey came in the game. He was pretty boastful. He was talking a bit of trash, and he was like, you know, a little bit more in your face. I'm not really even seeing Turkey post too much, right? He's not really out there like he was at one point. The game, you're seeing it. Joshua just fought Jake Paul. He went from Jake Paul to Pringles. And it's talking about the comeback. What do you mean? He just fought in December. Joshua versus Pringles versus Jenga or whatever this guy's name is. In Saudi Arabia. Y'all were praising these boxing cards and saying, I have never seen a card like this. Better be of in Bevo part 1, 2. Oh my God. I want to see David Benavidez fight one of them. But they kept running back Bevo and Better Biev, right? And leaving my boy David Benavidez out in the cold. So he had to move up to cruiserweight, which he's doing this weekend, right? What happened to the star-studded Madrimov and Crawford cards and Eminem performing? Why is Joshua fighting this guy? Never in my life seen him fight. Never. I'm not even being funny. If you watch a Pringa fight from start to finish when it aired live, let me know in the comment section. Say I have or I haven't. I've never once seen this guy fight. Now, I understand Joshua went through a car wreck, but you're choosing to come back and continue your career. And then what they're doing is teasing a Tyson Fury Joshua fight. Why don't y'all just... Fury didn't even look good versus that Game of Thrones looking dude, right? So why delay? Why wouldn't you go straight into Joshua Tyson Fury? Please tell me how that makes any sense. Why tease it for later in the year? And then the reports are saying Tyson Fury won an in-betweener fight too. How does this make any sense? Heavyweight division. Fury already didn't look good. Joshua hasn't looked amazing. Like even beating Jake Paul. People celebrated him because he broke Jake Paul's jaw and they wanted to see that. But people are like, you should knock him out in 1 or 2 rounds. It took you a couple rounds and you didn't knock him out where he was unconscious in sleep. You know what I mean? So it's a past prime fight. But again, the ring reporters and stuff, they're going to lie and hype it up as if it's like the best fight to be made in boxing. Meanwhile, the real best fights like Jaron Boots Ennis and Virgil Ortiz, how come the Saudis didn't put no money in to prevent the lawsuit from Virgil Ortiz and Golden Boy? Virgil wanted $7 million. I thought y'all were made of money and you had unlimited funds. That's what y'all said as fans. Now the chickens have come home to roost. You said it was unlimited funds. Turkey is taking over the game. He saved boxing. So why didn't he save the Boots and Virgil Ortiz fight? Because to be honest, I would want to see that before Boots and Xander Zayas. I'm not mad at Xander fight, but the world of boxing was asking for Boots Virgil before the Zayas fight even came about, because the Zayas is young, so that fight will still be there even if you wait. You know what I mean? Versus Virgil Ortiz, we don't want to see somebody take a loss and then y'all fight. So yeah, it's looking bad. It looks like the money is dried up in terms of what they're willing to spend and lose. Now, I think they could come up with the money for fights that they deem premium, like Tyson Fury and Joshua, even though I don't think that's premium. Maybe you can get the UK involvement, get a bunch of sponsors and ads. So that could work, you know, a fight like that. But I told you, fighters like Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson, it might be bad. And that's why the Haneyacks are acting like they're acting right now, putting up fake narratives that Devin has agreed to fight Shakur, only for Shakur hours later to be like, hey, yo. I don't know what you're talking about. My team ain't heard nothing about fighting Devin Haney. You could tell it was a setup because Shakur already told you he not coming to 47 right now. He told you that. He said he talking about rehydration clauses and catch weights or come see me at 140. So how do we go from that? Nothing has really changed. He never updated information. And then now I'm supposed to believe Shakur agreed to fight Devin Haney. So for me, this was probably Team Haney being in the position, understanding that the game has changed. Them big paychecks aren't just coming out freely like they were before from the Saudis. I mean, look, like, what is this? You got USYK fight. You got a Ukrainian fighting a kickboxer in Egypt. Who asked for that? Like, I mean, you might as well have Usyk fight Zorro in Alcatraz or something. Like, it's just like random. Usyk versus Rico Suave in Egypt, right? And you can do all these AI covers that don't look like no Hamza Shiraz. You know what I mean? Hamza Shiraz versus Ellen DeGeneres or whatever that say. Jack Catterall and Giasov. Frank Sanchez and Richard Torres. I mean, that's light. The man, Frank Sanchez, has a knee brace on his. That's light. He got a knee brace, and he just pulled out of that fight or pulled out of a situation like that because of his injury. So that's not no great big fight. I don't even know who this is. Chung Lee and Solomon. Cool. I don't know who this is either. Russell Westbrook and somebody else. These are just not a good card. You got Lil Boosie not working with Vlad TV. I guess he on this card because I don't know who that is. So Boosie badass. Who else? You got this dude and Benjamin Bratt. Like, come on, bro. Who are these people? You could put it at the pyramids and stuff. We don't know none of these people. So, and then Jared Anderson, I think, was supposed to be on the card. He just pulled out with an injury. So it's like, it's just like a lot of Hail Mary Saudi ring, like, oh, Fury versus Joshua. But then you're putting them in interim fights with random people. Why not just go straight into it? Just pay them whatever you're paying them. Look, all this fake news. Crawford and Billy. I'm not saying the fight can't happen, but these aren't real announcements. And I just see the comment before I clicked off. Somebody said, who the is in Billy? Bro, and that's the funny things. Canelo fans about to rush to the comments talking about Canelo always takes the hard fights when we know what this is. Bro, Canelo cooked. I've tried to tell y'all, the game is switched up. All that overpaying is cooked. You got Canelo for more fights. And then, like, here's the thing. Billy can fight. He's a good fighter. I'm a boxing head. But he ain't no known commodity. Nobody, you put this face up, they don't know who he is unless you're a diehard boxing fan like me. So this ain't going to be no fight that... And then they talking about putting in Saudi Arabia. So Saudi Arabia is going to continue to get stuck with the bill in boxing for fights that really can't provide a return. You got to overpay Canelo. He's coming off of a loss. He got bodied by Crawford. He got bodied by Bivol. He got bodied by Floyd. He should have lost at least one Triple G fight. Hey, no, guys. Hey, Max, guys, is nothing. Right? You're overpaying him to fight at a loss. This is not healthy for the sport of boxing. The man got cooked. His pay should drop, period. But they like him or whatever. They think he's going to sell. And then you put him in with a good fighter. It's just high risk, really low reward. Just like the Williams School fight. And you're like, oh, come on, Ego. He's a champion. I don't care. Bro, I'm gonna keep cooking y'all so bad. He's a champion. he's a champion. He's a champion with the sanctioning body. Ain't this the same people that say they don't care about belts? The only belt that matters is ring and Zuffa belts. So they don't even have clear messaging, right? The only way you could even begin to sell Canelo versus Mbili is to, one, diehard fans and point out the fact that Mbili is a WBC champion. But here's where you expose yourself. Him being the WBC champion, according to these same people, doesn't really amount to a hill of beans because they don't recognize sanctioning body belts. Remember they had Crawford do that whole rant like, WBC, come take your belt. I'm a fighter. The Ring Magazine belt is free. So I don't see how none of this is supposed to work. I really don't. I don't see. You came in the game wrong, and then you think Dana White's going to help you. Bro, go look online at that upcoming UFC event, and the ticket sales are floundering. People aren't buying tickets. UFC is absolutely at the weakest spot that I could ever recall in UFC history. I'm talking about Rampage Jackson, Chuck Liddell, right? Them times, back when they had them guys, all the way to Ronda Rousey, Conor McGregor, and Nick Diaz, Anderson Silva, Chris Weidman, Luke Rockhold. Now, anywhere in there was a greater time for the UFC. They had to act like Todd Doofy or whatever. They had better fights, bigger fights, crazy moments, right? Shamrock and all this stuff, crazy knockouts. Now you're lucky to get a knockout, or it's on one of their lower level prelims, right? Because a lot of the fighters that are winning right now and top, outside of Alex Pereira, you don't really got a lot of guys with the stand up. A lot of the guys that are really cooking are wrestlers and guys from, Georgian and Chechen guys and Dagestani guys, right? Where you have a Sugar Sean O'Malley stand-up action fighter, but then he losing to Marab with a staph infection. You know what I mean? So, yeah, they think Dana White is going to take over the American market and Zuffa Boxing and all this type of jazz. I can't wait. Y'all said I've been wrong this whole time. We going to see. I think fighters are in for a brutal, and I do mean brutal, reality check. We're in the time too where the economy is just bad in America. We're not in a great economy, right? Y'all talk all this stuff about Biden and Sleepy Joe and all that. I bet. Now gas price is $6.59. I swear I seen gas for $6.59 yesterday in Hayward. You know what I mean? So people can't afford stuff. Prices to everything is going up, et cetera, et cetera. And then y'all fans and media, y'all try y'all best to like promote what you wanted to promote instead of promoting what was right for boxing. And now here's what you're stuck with. Saudis are pulling the plug on a lot of investments and limiting that money. And I'm very interested to see how this plays out. For example, y'all are like, oh, Zuffa Boxing, Dana White, he's making a boxing league. I don't give a because this is who you're signing. Sergey Deryevchenko? Come on, bro. He's literally 40 years old. He's literally lost 6 fights out of his last 10. He's literally coming off of injuries, plural, right? What are you going to do with a 40-year-old war-torn Ukrainian boxer who's 5'9" at middleweight, coming off an injury? And I like Deryevchenko for the record. You know, I enjoyed his career. But this is the same. This is how fake old media is, right? This is how fake they are. When Mal Charlo beat Deryevchenko, they said he was trash. He's since lost like 5 more times to Carlos Adames, Mbili, got injured, right? et cetera, et cetera. And now Zuffa is signing him at age 40 with several more losses. And this is what boxing fans are supposed to be excited for. But the same boxing fans told you not to give Jermall Charlo credit for beating Derevyanchenko, and he cooked him. And at that point, the only loss that he probably had was Danny Jacobs, who was in a very competitive fight with him, right? And Derevyanchenko had just fought Triple G and hurt Triple G. So Charlo fought an active, worthy version, not the version that fought Munguia later and all that, and then Billy. So how is this a good signing from Zuffa Boxing, right? And again, I talk this boxing talk. Y'all can't talk the boxing talk. The man says since the injury, look at that. Look, this is who they signed. A guy who a year ago had this on his arm. A guy who had like broken arms and ligaments and tendons. Look, we ain't sitting him back in the ring. He coming off a loss. And Zuffa was like, oh, we'll sign him. What does that do? What does that get you, bro? What does that get you? Or it is. Here's Zuffa 7. A cruiserweight with two random white dudes. And this dude lost to Zordo Ramirez, who's about to fight over the weekend. And you got the nerve to put this on a Saturday. Chris Billiam Smith versus some dude that sounds like he should be in the UFC. Bro, these turkey cars ain't hitting the same. Look, my man said, who? Oh, wow. Finally, he gets a big name. Who is he? Look, there go Schillinger. All action. Bro, and this is what people are hyping up. I've been trying to lead y'all down the promised land. Y'all didn't want to believe me. That Saudi money looking different now in combat sports. Remember they were at the Sphere with the UFC? Why they didn't go back to the Sphere? Why don't you bring this Chris Billiam Smith and Rozicki? Bring that to the Sphere. Dana White's still doing shows in the Apex. Bring this to the Sphere and put Derevyanchenko on there, right? And then you got the Haneyacks in boxing, and they keep talking about, oh man, Devin got so many plays and so many opponents, so many moves. If you have so many moves, why don't you just announce them? Why does it have to be a big charade, a big production, a big game? If you got a legendary fight, if you get a legendary contract, multi-fight contract, why is it this big production as opposed to just I know some people that are well off, right? They want a new car. They could go out right today and get a new car. But guess what? It ain't going to be like, oh, I'm thinking about buying this, or I'm thinking about getting a Hellcat. I'm thinking about getting a Camaro. I'm thinking about, it ain't no thinking about. You just go out, go to the dealership and sign the paperwork and get the keys. So in boxing, why is it this big production? Like, oh, Shakur Stevenson's next fight is coming. It really is with Devin Haney more, right? Devin Haney's next fight is coming. Be prepared. Why do we have to be prepared? If he got a great big fight, announce it. But the Haneyacks and the Haneyacks content creators, they're trying to, man, Zuffa got all the money. He should sign with Zuffa. Who's he gonna fight with them? Derevyanchenko? He gonna move up to cruiserweight and fight Chris Billiam Smith? This is the oldest trick in the book, right? It's the old bait and switch, right? Where you link Devin Haney or whoever's name to a big anticipated fight, right? And then you do the bait and switch and say, gotcha. And then it really don't be that person, right? Who wants to bet money, right? Let's look at the ring and how they've been moving. And they're connected to the Saudis. That's why we're using them. Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson in preliminary talks. Who wants to make a wager that no matter who Devin Haney fights next, no matter who he signs to or whatever, his next fight will not be better than this fight you see on the screen? People love this fight, right? Great fight. You can bet your bottom dollar that his next fight, whenever it's announced, will not be better and more anticipated than this. So again, use the big names, clickbait and clout chase, and make it a blame game. Oh, Shakur, take the fight. Man, Devin wanted to fight everybody, but they didn't want to fight him, right? Play these games, and then it'd be something different. Even this, I'm not saying it can't happen, but Canelo and Billy, why are you posting this, talking about breaking, if we don't have a face-off? We don't have a press conference. We don't have a venue. We don't have a date. It's not really breaking. Boxing is cooked. You are being lied to, right? I'm just on Ring Magazine's page. Fury Joshua. How do we have Fury Joshua, and then you got this piece of fight with Joshua and Pringles? How does any of this stuff make sense? How you got Fury and Joshua if he's supposed to be fighting this dude? You'd be like, oh man, he's come on, Ego, he's going to easily run through him. Then why is he fighting him? Either way, you're trapped. The only argument you can make is Joshua is looking past him and he's a bum, so Joshua should get through him easy. All right, fine. Joshua should get through him easy, which means, why is he fighting it? You just beat Jake Paul. You didn't get hurt. You didn't get knocked out. Why are you fighting this guy? And then they're like pump faking, teasing a Fury fight. Fury's doing Netflix TV shows. Like, none of this stuff is looking right. Before, when the Saudis were in boxing with the PIF, they were willing to take the losses, right? So they were just pulling the trigger. Better Bevo on the card. We got Dubois, Joseph Parker on the card, Shakur on the card, blah, blah, blah. We got whoever else, Zhele Zhang and old boy that beat him, the heavyweight. I forgot his name right now. You know what I mean? They were just pulling the trigger. You remember the Madrimov card? The Madrimov card and Eminem, and they had this big press conference. Then what? Crawford fought Canelo, and retired. You can't tell me I haven't been on point this whole entire time. These rollouts are looking a lot cheaper. They're looking a lot different. Try to warn y'all. Y'all say, oh no, Ego, you're off. All right. We're going to see about that. Live streaming can be tough, which is why I use StreamYard. Click the link in the description for StreamYard, which is an awesome tool that enables you to set up your stream with ease of use. Get great results with live streaming. It's what I use. Stream to social media with ease with StreamYard. Live streaming is here to stay. Engage with your audience using StreamYard. Great way to reach out to your audience and connect. So you need a tool that can do that. If you're new to YouTube and you're struggling to get views, one tool I can provide to you is TubeBuddy. I've been on YouTube over 10 years. I use TubeBuddy daily to crank out videos just like this one that you're watching. Learn how the pros do it with TubeBuddy. YouTube receives a lot of traffic, which also means a lot of creators, a lot of people putting out content. So you need to learn the ropes so you know how to separate yourself, especially if you're new, but even if you're a pro, use TubeBuddy. The link is in the description. Get more views, more subscribers, and a higher click-through rate, so ultimately you can realize all of your online goals. Use my affiliate link in the description and grow your channel fast. So I want to give you guys a couple final points. I told you I'll go make this ugly for y'all. Don't ever doubt me. So remember Crawford Madrimov, Riyadh season, Pitbull Cruz, El Rayo, Tim Tszyu, Virgil Ortiz, even though the fight got canceled, Andy Ruiz, Jarrell Big Baby Miller, David Morrell in Hot Rod, Andy Cruz when he was undefeated versus Antonio Moran, in LA with Eminem, right? So you had loads of recognizable names. Fast forward to the future, what do we have for him, Johnny? Usyk with a porn mustache versus, I don't even know, Rico, a kickboxer in Egypt. And this is the undercard. And you're like, oh man, the PIF reducing the money in golf has nothing to do with boxing. Shit. It has nothing to do with boxing. Then why are we getting fights like this from the same people? Why are they not putting out? You're putting Joshua in there with Pringles. Pringles. What happened to these type of cards that they were doing that you guys were on your knees glazing for, right? Come on, bro. I'm unbeatable. Where do we get, how, if the Saudis are still investing the same type of money and they have unlimited funds, which is what y'all told me, why are we getting this instead of these type of cards that you guys were so raving about? That's so raving. So I know what I said and provided throughout this journey, and it's not looking good. It is very apparent what's at play. The Saudis are reducing that budget. I'm not saying they don't have money, but between the conflict in the Middle East and the Strait of Hormuz being closed, fighters wasting their money because there is no return on their investment, they're not getting it back. They're doing the right thing in business that I predicted, which is to withdraw. It's like a girlfriend, or not even a girlfriend, a girl. If you spending hella money on a chick, taking her on dates, you want to be in a relationship with her, and she's stringing you along, won't kiss you, won't hold your hand, don't want people to see you in public with her, and you buying her flowers, bringing her Starbucks, taking her to get her car fixed, buying her tires. I ain't never did all that to somebody where it wasn't mutual. Now, I'm not saying if you have a wife, you have a girl that held you down since high school, not to do these things. I'm talking about a girl and there's no reciprocation. That's what we're talking about. Some girl that is one way. You're interested in her, but she's not really interested in you like that. I ain't never did that. I ain't never been a trick. You know what I mean? But anyway, you don't want to keep dumping a bunch of money into that. There's plenty of fish in the sea. Find you a girl where, you know, there's some kind of payout. You get what you want out the situation too. You know what I mean? And I think the Saudis, they tried it. It came in flexing and tried to take over in a couple different industries. And they seen it's not, they spent all these money with these golf players and they're like, man, it's not as easy. It's not as easy to overtake existing organizations. People think it is. Like, for example, I could have some bread and be like, man, I'm going to start my own streaming and take over Hulu, Netflix and stuff, and Disney. There's so many things you have to clear. Not everyone's going to be Netflix toppling Blockbuster. You know what I mean? And then, of course, people are going to fight back. Netflix ain't going to just let you take them down. You know what I mean? It's just like, oh, we had our run. Judgment Day has come, and just succumb to it. So they're going to be fighting. They're going to be sabotaging. They're going to be doing whatever's in their power to make sure that you don't get in position. It's just the nature of the business. So, yeah, a lot of y'all were all in and it said the Saudis had unlimited money, it looks like that time has quickly come to an end because you're seeing a transition. I literally don't even know. I've only watched one fight of this dude's, and that was Zordo Ramirez fight. But I know some of you guys have never seen him or him. Like, who is this? And then you got old media talk about all action. This is a great fight. But then the real fans are like, huh? Who is this? Man, it's going to be a new day, bro. It's about to be a new day. I think fighters, and I'm so happy too, because I think, look, isn't Boychuk coming off a loss? I think Mosley's coming off a loss. He just fought Ramos. I think he lost. And then Boychuk lost to Brandon Adams. So this is your main event. What happened to the Sphere? What happened to the bigger fights? What happened to the star-studded cards? You know what I mean? Like, Judgment Day is coming. Y'all should have listened.